So this morning I was trying to be kind. Baby Kathy got sorted off from his mama and he hadn't heard about social distancing, and I was trying to be kind, and this is what I got. You know what? Truth of the matter is we've been talking a lot about kindness, right? Through this whole pandemic. I'm telling you tonight, kindness, though, is about to have a different face. So listen to the band, and then I'll come back and tell you about it.
Well, welcome to Wednesday Night Church. This is not our home. We're actually at Cross Brand, and many of you have been very encouraging to us as we played at home, but I am so excited to be back with this group of guys and gals, and we are missing one. Martha Pochel is one of our people on the front lines, and she's not a nurse, but she works at a hospital. So she's not with us, but we do miss her. Wish she was here. But we're going to start with a little bit of conversation, and I wanted to ask you a question, and I didn't tell you what I was going to ask, but I was going to throw this at you. I know that through these crazy times, I know God has spoken to me. I want to know what God has told you, or what you felt God speaking to you during this time of being at home and in very different atmosphere.
The first word that came up is the word helpless. Because I know that I want to be in charge. I want to know what's happening, what's about to happen. In other words, I want to plan what's next. And that is not God's plan.
Yeah.
So that's what's happened. It's, I'm home with Cindy, and we look at each other like, well, what next? And we're so used to saying, what do we do? When God is calling us in our house just to be with Him. And so we've started our days like that more than we ever have before. And in fact, we're almost desperate to start our days like that right now.
Yeah.
With Him.
That's good. I know for me, I realized, and I was talking to Vanessa one day, we just took a walk, like a long walk. And I realized in that moment that I was so focused on being a taskmaster, like, what's the next thing, what's the next thing, what's the next thing, and never really slowing down to take a moment and breathe and just be in the moment. Would you agree with that, Vanessa?
Oh, yeah. Wholeheartedly, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, always going to let's finish this task. Let's just get it done so we can just move on to the next thing. And whether it was like, get up, get dressed, go work out, get your food, go to work, get back, get ready for the next. It was everything on point. Like you said, I was in control really of everything, or I thought I was, that was going on in my day. But it was so tiring. It was just exhausting.
Yes.
And we've talked about even today, I don't want to go back to what I was doing. I just don't.
Yeah.
Everything in me is screaming, I don't want to become that worn out, that stretched so thin, that yes girl, that next thing. I don't want to do that anymore.
That's good. And I would just challenge all of you watching to just be listening to whatever it is that God is trying to tell you through these weird times. Y'all ready to play some music? It's been a while.
Yes.
We're a little rusty, but here we go. Come all you weary, come all you thirsty, come to the well that never runs dry. Drink of the water, come and thirst no more. Well, come all you sinners, come find His mercy, come to the table, He will satisfy. Taste of His goodness, find what you're looking for. For God so loved the world that He gave us His one and only Son to save us. Whoever Well, bring all your failures and bring your addictions. Come lay them down at the foot of the cross. Jesus is waiting there with open arms. For God so loved the world that He gave us His one and only Son to save us. Whoever believes in Him will live forever. The power of hell forever defeated. Now it is well, I'm walking in freedom. For God so loved, God so loved the world.
Praise God, from whom all blessings flow. Praise Him for the wonders of His love. Praise God, from whom all blessings flow. Praise Him for the wonders of His love. His amazing love. For God so loved the world that He gave us His one and only Son to save. For God so loved the world that He gave us His one and only Son to save us. Whoever believes in Him will live forever. Oh, the power of hell forever defeated. Now it is well, I'm walking in freedom. For God so loved the world. Bring all your failures, bring your addictions. Come lay them down at the foot of the cross. Jesus is waiting. God so loved the world. I searched the world, but it couldn't fill me. In man's empty praise and treasures that fade are never enough. Then you came along and put me back together. And every desire is now satisfied here in your love. Oh, there's nothing better than you. Oh, there's nothing better than you, Lord. There's nothing is better than you. I'm not afraid to show you my weakness, my failures and flaws. Lord, you've seen them all, and you still call me friend. 'Cause the God of the mountain is the God of the valley. And there's not a place that your mercy and grace won't find me again. Oh, there's nothing better than you. There's nothing better than you, Lord. There's nothing is better than you. You're the only one who can. You turn graves into gardens. You turn bones into armies. You turn seas into highways. You're the only one who can. You're the only one who can. Oh, there's nothing better than you. Oh, there's nothing better than you, Lord. There's nothing. Nothing is better than you. Oh, there's nothing better than you, Lord. There's nothing better than you, Lord. There's nothing. Nothing is better than you. Oh, there's nothing better than you. There's nothing better than you. Lord, there's nothing. Nothing is better than you.
Let the king of my heart be the mountain where I run, the fountain I drink from. Oh, he is my song. Let the king of my heart be the shadow where I hide, the ransom for my life. Oh, he is my song. 'Cause you are good, you're good. Oh, you are good, you're good. Oh, you are good, you're good. Oh, you are good, good. Oh, let the king of my heart be the wind inside my sails, the anchor in the waves. Oh, he is my song. Let the king of my heart be the fire inside my veins, the echo of my days. Oh, he is my song. 'Cause you are good, good. Oh, you are good, you're good. Oh, you are good, so good. Oh, you are good, good. Oh, you're never gonna let me down. 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 No, 'cause you are good. You're good. Oh, you are good. You're good. So good. You're good. Oh, you are good. You're good. You're good. You're good. Oh, you are good. So good. Oh, you are good. Good. Oh, you are good. Good. Oh.
So you have by now figured out that kindness has been something that not just me, but most of the teachers and pastors that have been doing online services, we've talked a lot about kindness during this whole pandemic, right? We've talked about kindness as it relates to your neighbors, those people that are there in your family. What about those poor people that you've been cooped up with? The ones that really, when you've been squeezed, they see what's on the inside. We've talked a lot about kindness, but tonight I'm telling you, kindness is about to take on a new face. As you know, Governor Abbott is beginning to open the Texas economy. And although, as I've mentioned, churches are always considered essential, we understand that we've tried to be kind and think about people's health, right? And so we've done online services. And a big theme, as you've heard from me, is to be the church. It doesn't take a building to do that. Well, so as he makes that announcement, you know, Brett and I were talking. I met with a strategic planning group today at Cross Brand, and we're trying to figure out a strategy to reopen. And you know what? We've got some suggestions, but one of the things that keeps permeating a lot of my mind and my thoughts in this whole process is kindness, and it's really different. Now, when you look at Scripture, and you look at the early followers of Jesus, just think about what Paul said about kindness and how it relates to us. And he said in Ephesians 4:32, he said, look, instead be kind to one another, tenderhearted, forgiving one another, just as God, through Christ, has forgiven you. What about to the church at Colossae? He says this, since God chose you to be holy people that he loves, you must clothe yourselves with tender-hearted mercy, kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience. Matter of fact, he would even tell the church at Galatia, those early followers of Jesus, he says one of the indicators that you are really a follower of Jesus, you guessed it, the fruit of the Spirit, one of the things it will produce, you ready? Kindness. So I've encouraged you to be kind. You get that. But I think we're fixing to move into an all-time level of a new level of tension, possibly, a new level of an opportunity to be divided as a church. I think it is a good thing that we're going to start gathering soon. What I do think, though, is our enemy is smart enough to divide us on some areas. And if we all will just put on a new face of kindness, be kind in a different way than possibly we've ever been kind in, because we've never faced this particular journey, right? So follow me just for a second. Here's what I think. After hearing that good band, after hearing those great musicians, hope your heart is tender and you'll be ready for this, because I'm not being critical. I just want to make a few observations. Kindness has a new face. Here's what I think that new face is going to look like. I think in being kind, as we come back and we begin to gather, and it's going to look so much different at Crossbrand, right? You know, when we come back together, we're going to meet in the arena so that everybody can follow the rules and be distanced. We're going to encourage some of you not to come. It's going to be different. It's going to be weird. But you know what? It's going to be great. I'm so excited about the new opportunities and the new frontier that we've got, that none of us have ever had this opportunity in our lifetimes. But when that happens, one of the ways we can be kind is to forgive. You ready for this? Forgive when people don't follow the rules. I kid you not. Katrina and I, the closer we got to our destination in Smithville, Oklahoma, the dumber people got. No. I don't mean that anything. I'm not saying anything about you Okies, because even in Northeast Texas, here's what happens. We pulled into a McDonald's, and this guy takes my change, no gloves, no mask, watering himself all over, leans out of the window, nowhere near 6 foot. Nowhere near 6 foot. I thought, man, this is strange. Then we get to an eating establishment in Oklahoma. It was carry out, right? We called. This kid comes out to our vehicle, leans in, I'm not kidding you, leans in the window and tells us how much he appreciates us and how tired he is. That's what I wanted to do. Now, you're going to have a lot. I'm not a germaphobe. But I got to be honest with you, with some of you, I've lost that loving feeling. No touchy. It's going to be weird to follow the rules. It's going to be weird to not see some of your pretty face. It's going to be weird that you're wearing gloves. But a lot of you are like me. You get invaded, right? And so even when people don't follow the rules, you know what? I got to be kind. It's going to matter. So be kind. Kindness has a new face. We're going to have to be kind when people don't follow the rules. Number 2, we need to be kind by following the rules. I get it. I hate these stupid things. I hate them. Thank you, Nikki, for making them, but I hate them. The only thing I like about these is, oh, by the way, you heard about these things right now, that a lot of the Baptists are excited about these because they can actually go into the liquor stores without being noticed. But that's just weird, right? But one of the greatest things I can do, I've not seen my mama since this pandemic started. And you're going, that's terrible. I cannot imagine why you would think that's terrible. So you may judge me. I will forgive you if you do. I can talk on the phone, but I do not expose. What if I have the corona cootie? What if you have the corona cootie? Asymptomatic, you know the rules, right? I get all of that. I'm just saying, it's okay to lose that loving feeling for a while. And I am asking you to think about kindness in a new way, and that's follow the rules. If you want to keep people safe, keep them safe. Well, there's one other thing I just want you to think about, right? I know I've already pushed a lot of buttons, but this is fixing to get worse. I just think kindness, we're going to have an opportunity to be kind in a new way by respecting each other's opinions at an all new level. We're in Texas. Everybody's got an opinion. We're in Texas, and a lot of people are pretty bossy about those opinions. I get that. Some of the opinions about Corona are politically motivated, and there's these sides, right? A lot of them are media motivated. I get that. Some of you are CNN and some of you are Fox, and I say, great. I'm going to respect either one of your opinions. I am. There's a lot of people that think the Corona is just a political thing, right? Some people think it is a massive, massive health catastrophe that's going to crush our economy. Then some people are the conspiracy theorists, and you put Corona right up there with Bigfoot. And I got to admit, I'm with you. I saw Bigfoot. I was seeing Bigfoot for a year, and unfortunately, I realized it was one of my neighbors without his shirt on. But we got through that, and so we'll get through this together too. But I'm going to respect that. I'm going to be kind when you say things that are just so not in my paradigm. And that will push some of us, right? There is an interesting conversation that happened last night with my friend Pete from Cowboy Church of Atascosa County. He's down south, and Pete just called last night, just checking to see what we were doing. And I'm glad that I've got that friend. But he said something very interesting. He said some of the people that have been critical of him for holding off on starting church have been people who are only responsible for themselves or their family. One of the interesting things about this whole deal is I know a lot of people, so we're at this critical time. Governor says it's okay to come back. But on a local level, we've got to make our own decisions. What is healthy, what is safe, what is best. Sometimes what is legal is not always best. And so, Cross Brand leaders, we're not just responsible for our families, we're responsible for yours too. So as we're making decisions, I pray that you will be kind, because we're probably going to make some that you disagree with. We're probably going to make some, not opening up the whole place immediately. A lot of you are ready to come back. I'm ready to come back too. But this is a time to be driven by science, to be driven by data, and then we pray through that. That's where faith comes in, right? So be kind. Be kind to your pastors and teachers if they're not going at the pace you want them to. But also, I would say to respect others' opinions that are guilt-driven during this. I've noticed, especially some of our seniors, they just feel terrible that they can't come to church. I guess I'm a senior now, but I understand the importance of staying home. We have people that have literally struggled with guilt over not getting to come. And I got to remind you, please don't, you don't need to feel guilty about that. I'm telling you right now, if you are one of our seniors at Crossbrand, if you're in that age bracket where you're high risk, please stay at home and do not feel guilty, because you're the building is not the church. We moved away from the temple model a long time ago, 2,000 years ago. I would encourage you, some of you that are 65 and older, hey, you might even, as one of our lay pastors said today, you might even help us with the leadership in that. Help those people in your age bracket and stay home. Truth of the matter is kindness is going to have to take on a new face, and respect of other people's opinions is going to be paramount. So as I close, I just want to remind you something. Kindness has a new face. And if we get to the point over the next few weeks when we begin to open up Crossbrand and your churches begin to open up, you got to understand something. Kindness will take a whole new face. Following the rules, dealing with those people that don't follow the rules. But know this, regardless, your kindness or your lack of will be remembered. That's what's going to make the dent. So as followers of Jesus, one of the marks that we leave, the legacy we leave, will be driven by kindness. And listen, people ain't going to remember your church attendance. People are not going to remember the cool things you did at church so much as how you treated them. Have a good night.